We're going to take a look at how to insert images into a Google application, whether it happens to be Doc, like you see here, a spreadsheet, or presentation. We do have a few images options. We can probably look at three potential ways to get images into a Google application. First is the copy and paste option. I would stress that that particular method is kind of finicky when it comes to web applications, whether it be Google or anything else. Sometimes it requires that the application has access to the clipboard on your computer, which isn't always possible. So while copy and paste may work sometimes, it may not work consistently. Probably better options are the remaining two. Either upload an image from your computer or find an image that's on the web and use its URL. So here I have a blank Google Doc document, and I'd like to insert some images on this. If you are looking to insert an image just anywhere along the document, it will insert the image based on where your insertion point is. Since this particular document is primarily pictures, what I'm going to do is hit enter a number of times. That moves that flashing insertion point down lower on the page so that once I do get an image into the document, I have options as to where I can move it. If your insertion point is only up here, sometimes it's finicky and does not let you move things down lower on the page. So now that I've hit entered a number of times, if this is where I want my first image to go, I could simply try and work with the copy paste method, which again is discouraged because it is finicky, or you may actually go and upload an image. Now I happen to have an image on this computer that I would like to use. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image. It brings up Google's dialog for inserting an image, and by default it shows upload. So what I'm going to do is go choose an image to upload from my local computer. So I navigate to the folder in which I have the image I would like to upload. I've got the student shapes drawing that I would like to open. When I open it, Google tries to go ahead and upload that picture to my document. Just like with anything else in a Google app, you can take that image and you can resize it. Of interest here when you're inserting an image is that it tries to insert it where the insertion point is flashing, but also it is by default in line with the text, whatever you happen to be typing. Since I'm not typing anything at the moment, I would like to just move this on the screen. I'm going to change it to a fixed position so that now it becomes a movable picture. While this is a wonderful green and gold image, I think I'm going to look for something else that's green and gold. So I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard to delete that image and go look for another one. You may recall the third option for getting an image into your document is to find one on the web and use its URL. So I have done a search and I have found some wonderful green and gold pictures here. As I scroll down, I find an image that I think works for my particular project. It will be this Green Bay Packer logo right here. Upon clicking on it, in Google, it brings up the image with the background of the page itself. I would recommend going to full-size image. That brings up the image all by itself on a web page. As I adjust the recording window here, you can see that the image is all by itself without any background. And here is the image URL for where that image is located out on the web. I will be interested in that in just a moment. When you do have the image all by itself, one option is to right-click and to save the image as, and that would allow you to save the image down to your computer. Depending upon your browser, it may say something like save picture as instead of save image, but that would allow you to save it so that you can then use that image in an upload to a Google Doc. We're going to use a different method here, however. We're going to go up above and we're going to copy the URL. So once I highlight it and I hit copy, that URL is now something that I can use in my Google Doc. Coming back to the document itself, I can do that same location, insert image, but this time instead of uploading the image, I'm going to insert the image by its URL. And there I have the dialog for me to do that. Right-click does work in most browsers. You may hit right-click and paste, or you may hit the keyboard shortcut of Control-V. There's my logo, and at the bottom of the screen I have the option to select this image to insert it into my document. After a little bit of time, it searches for that image, and it now is inserted into my document. Upon clicking on that image, once again I can choose fixed position and it will allow me to move this particular picture around on my page. Now, one downfall here is that it is an image that I can resize it, I can make it smaller, but I can't rotate it in any way. Right now it just remains at a regular orientation. What I'd like to do is work on a trick that allows me to rotate some images. So I'm going to delete this image, and this time under the Insert menu I'm going to go to Insert, not Image, but Insert a Drawing. That brings up the mini version of Google's drawing tool. You may recall seeing this back when we inserted WordArt. Instead of inserting WordArt this time, however, I'm going to use this icon here to insert image, and the Insert Image URL dialog comes up, in which again I can paste in the URL to that picture. When I say OK, it brings that picture into this mini drawing tool, and the mini drawing tool I can resize it, and I also can do some rotating. So if rotation of the image is important to you, this is a trick that allows you to do that. Upon hitting Save and Close, it now adds that image to my document in its rotated orientation. The thing that is especially nice by the URL type of inserting an image is that by copying the URL, you are then able to then cite where you got the image from. So now that I have the URL, I can go ahead and type in where the image came from. Now I have citation for where this image came from. An additional note here at the end of this is to remind you that if you are doing a search for an image from Google, that maybe works for you as a teacher. Do use caution when using an outright Google image search. That's maybe not the best place to send some of the younger kids. Also, do keep in mind that when you click that, and we mentioned earlier about citation, that these images may be available to you under fair use, but they are certainly subject to copyright oftentimes. This concludes the tutorial on inserting images.